Welcome everyone. Today it's Matt, and I'm going to talk about Pidove Max Monday and give a unit review. Overall, this is going to be one of the easier battles, so I don't have a lot of combat, but I'm going to go through the unit in depth. And to kind of surprisingly, it definitely has a use. Stay tuned. All right, I'm going to do this quickly. I'm going to probably do this every time. Avoid max mushrooms, too expensive. And I just want to keep repeating that as a public service announcement. More importantly, though, here's our Max Monday schedule that we know of. We have actually some pretty interesting units. Pidove, new unit, which will be February 17th. Darumaka, February 24th, another new unit. And personally, what I would think is one of the most useful Pokemon, which is telling me that there might be something coming out on the 8th that is going to be weak to Psychic or Steel, and that's Beldum, which is our best Psychic and Steel unit overall. On the third. All right, we're just going to talk about Pidove, and we're going to have Pidove as we're going to fight the Pidove initially. It's going to be a 1 star. I will give what units to use, but it's weak to electric, ice, and rock. You plug and play any of those units. If you have a G-Max, Lapras, or Toxtricity, it's going to be a pretty simple win. You don't even have to do very much overall. Otherwise, if you have a Dynamax unit that has a fast move, electric, ice, you will be able to completely one-shot it. As long as you avoid what it's strong to, which is bug, grass, ghost, and ground. And with that, we've really only got grass and ghost that we could really use to might be the incorrect unit to use. But as a 1 star, it will be pretty quick and easy to solo. It is in its lower phase, a low attack with decent stamina. The CPs that you're going to be looking for in non-windy conditions, 484 is its hundo, and if it's weather boosted in windy conditions, it is 605. What it grows up to, a Pidove with 12 candy turns into a Tranquil, and with 50 candy, a Tranquil will go into an Unfezant. It will grow up into a very useful unit in an Unfezant. I have a hundo of this that I actually use for raids. Pheasants are weak to the same thing, electric, ice, and rock, and takes reduced damage from bug, grass, ghost, and ground. Its defense is unfortunately relatively low at 146. Its strength, though, is pretty good at our attack, sorry, is really good at 226, and its stamina is 190, which is slightly below average. But for what I would say is for the Unfezant, it is a pretty good attacker. It is only going to be a tank, most likely, for if we have a bug, ghost, or ground unit. But there are some hidden uses for the Unfezant. Its fast moves are Steel Wing and Air Slash. They are all 1 second, which is a little disappointing. For Steel, we have Metagross, which is the Beldum that we're going to be getting in March. And quite frankly, Beldum is going to be a little harder to beat, but it's very worthwhile as its attacks are just better overall, has a better attack, and it's just a superior steel attack. If you don't have a Beldum, you can still grab Pidove and use it instead. It is a slight decrease, but where we're going to focus is Moltres with the Air Slash. The Unfezant and the Fast Move, they both have a 1 second flying move. Uh, in what we would call the normal battle, if you look at their fast moves and their attack, the Unfezant has slightly better overall attack on the fast move. But the main difference is that because Moltres just has higher attack, it'll do a lot more damage as the main flying attack unit that we have. But we're going to do a much more in-depth comparison of the two. Beforehand, though, let's go into what should we focus on this week. And we do have actually the 4 units out there. We've got 3 really good ones and a hard flop. The first one obviously is Pidove. It's a new Dynamax. Is because it's a really cheap flying attacker that is actually pretty good overall. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do an attack, and the first set of numbers is the max level comparison, assuming that they are also all upgraded to level 3. Pidove, a Moltres will do about 15.5% more damage than an equivalent Pidove. But the catch is that a Moltres requires a lot more candy and XL candy to get to the level 3 compared to a Pidove. On top of Pidoves are generally a lot more available to farm, while Moltres are obviously a lot harder. So, with only that 15.5%, if you're struggling to get your Moltres to level 3 and you could get your Pidove to level 3, that in itself will make it much more worthwhile. Now, if you are able to get it to level 3, but your Moltres only to level 35, the Unfezant will be actually slightly better at level 50. At level 29, Moltres at level 40, and level 25, Moltres at level 30, assuming that they are all the same attack level. If they're not, and you can get your Unfezant to a higher attack level, even just from a level 1 to a level 2, it will outdamage Moltres by itself there. So if you are struggling to level up your Moltres, a Pidove will do flying damage at something that's relatively comparable. I know that we've seen 40 to 50% differences in attack power before, so a 15.5 really isn't all that much. And as I said, a difference in level is enough to eclipse any of the differences in the attack power overall. Our second unit is Machop, who is the top tier fighting unit. You want to make sure that you have a 14-15 attack IV on it. I'm not going to say it's an absolute must to have it there, but with the Machops, this is our best fighting attack unit. We still have not really seen a unit that needs to be attacked by fighting, but honestly, it's got to be coming sooner rather than later. And Machop is our best fighting unit. Our hard pass is the 3-star, which is annoyingly hard for how useless it is Phalanx. All I'm going to say is a hard pass. This unit is a complete flop now, especially with Machop in the fold. Machamp is by far our winner in everything involved for fighting compared to Phalanx. And also with Machop being a 1-star and Phalanx being a 3-star, it's just an easy skip in that regards. It's more expensive, harder to fight, just not worth it. And in third place, which normally I'd be like, it's Grookey. It's a very interesting unit, but it's not my lowest target for 1-star. But if you don't really need to level up much other than your Pidove, there are 3 really interesting units that you can try and get some really good overall IVs and or more candy from. Also, if you're doing the Pidove during Max Mondays to get more candy, you make sure that you put a Pidove in the battle that you're doing. You will get a bonus of candy, which is going to be very helpful. If you don't have a lot of Pidove candy saved up. I'm a little short, as I say. I have a hundo, and I have been using it a bit, so I have leveled it up. So the biggest question is, are Unfezants worth it for you? So if you attack level 3 Moltres at level 40 or even at level 35, and level 40, for people that don't understand level 40, that is when you need to start using XL candies to level up. It starts right at the 10 XLs. And that's level 40. Level 35 is right when it's usually in the 20 regions. I forget if Moltres has a higher candy requirement than some of the others. So I can't be as exact what the candy and Stardust level is. But there's ways for you to check, even if you don't understand where you are, by looking at the CP and going into a CP calculator as well to find out what level you're at. But if you do have a level 3 Moltres at level 40, you're probably not going to be using Unfezant as you're flying attacker unless if you run out of revives. And you're still going to want to focus on one high HP or defense IV to use as a potential secondary tank. Personally, I am going to be looking for a high level attack and hopefully getting a good enough HP overall. The defense IV is not really super important, but overall, I expect you to be using Pidoves or Unfezants very low, and only if you have a level 3 attack Moltres. And around level 35 is probably where it's obviously going to be there, but even level 30 is probably enough for you to be able to skip Unfezant. Otherwise, the real plan of attack is to get a high IV attacker and then the high HP defense secondary, which you'll probably just get for going for a high attacker. And if you're really limited on space, which I know some of you are, then just ignore the high IV HP defense and just try to get a pretty good blended stat, maybe attack heavy blended stat, but overall. And I do expect you to use it a decent amount. Flying is one of those that there's enough of them weak to that now with us having both a Moltres or a Pidove, it's going to be something that we're going to want to use. And also, since a Pidove is 1 star, or should be 1 star, and it's only going to be 250 max points, if you do everything correctly, you could farm 4 times a day, at the very least 3 times a day. And if you bring in a Gmax Lapras or Toxtricity, the only challenge is can you one-shot it before you transform? And that's just to save you some time. What I do is I fast attack until I fill up the meter as far as I can without transforming and then do my charged move. And the goal is just to skip the animation to finish it quicker. There are times where I'm just too powerful, etc., and that's, fine and dandy, but all in all, you should only need 30 seconds if you bring in any type of ice electric unit overall. And to be quite frank and honest, that's pretty much all the planning you need to take the Pidove. Usually I end this, and instead right now, first, obviously, if you like this, please give me a subscription. I've been very blessed with getting a lot of subscribers lately, and I greatly appreciate all of that. But getting more is just helpful for the channel overall. Also, give it a like. And if you've got any comments, questions, or things you would like me to focus on, answer down below. But as I say, I also want to kind of give a quick update. I was planning on doing a how to choose your tank and how I do all of my recommendations. But I've had a really bad ear infection, and right now I'm hyped up on steroids, so I've been having a little hard time being able to even start a coherent response to that topic. I promise I'm still working on it, but it's a lot slower due to some very annoying health reasons, and also for me flying next week as well, so I really need to get this ear infection out as much as possible. Otherwise it's going to be a really rough week next week. I will be in Greensboro, South Carolina on Wednesday. There's going to be a raid day. I don't even remember who the raid is for, but if you're down there, I would love to meet you. I am planning on attending whatever the campfire event is going to be down there. And if you are still listening and from there, give me your name there and I'll make sure to introduce myself personally. And with that, have a good day, but more importantly, be successful. And as always, I'll try to do better next time.